All right, joining me now, a lawmaker who was in that hearing room, Tennessee Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us.
Nice to be with you.
Very much appreciated. I first want you to touch on what we just heard from Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor just now, talking about election security and his lack of movement, shall we say, when it comes to election security. He's basically saying, look, DNI Coates, the intelligence communities, they've been doing a lot to defend us when it comes to election security. The Department of Homeland Security is very involved with election security. What do you make of some of his comments so far?
What he says is true. We passed a bill last year, and Mr. Coates gave us a nice analysis. It was one I can't talk about, but he basically felt good about where things were. But then he's no longer there. And I don't know if he knew what was the Senate Intelligence Committee report that came out about the attempts to get into all 50 states' election systems. It came out after Mr. Mueller's testimony, and I'm not sure if he knew the reports that Iran and China and other countries were going to try to interfere with our elections. The fact is, this is a special time of technology and cyber warfare. We're going to see other countries involved, and so we probably do need more money that's in the Zoe Lofgren bill that the House passed.
So why, in fact, though, is McConnell calling this partisan legislation if he, in fact, believes there's a problem with election security in this country? Why not get legislation passed to protect this country from further interference from countries like Russia, possibly Iran, as we've seen some reporting indicate that's already happening?
Well, there's no really good reason I can think of. I mean, you could say it was a fiscal reason, but they passed the tax scam bill that put us $1 trillion in debt. They just agreed to the budget deal, which I voted for, but it was kind of their deal that puts us more into debt. They've done more. The debt is the largest it's ever been. The Republicans and McConnell don't care about fiscal responsibility anymore, so that's not the issue. Maybe it's that they figure that the outside help will help them. The Russians definitely helped Trump. Trump wanted that help. He asked the Russians, Russia, if you're listening. And so maybe.
So you think McConnell thinks that too? I
think he could think that it can't be. It can't be harmful. There's no reason. This is the most critical time that our infrastructure needs to be safe. We should have paper ballots. Part of Zoe Lofgren's bill was to have paper ballots as well as ways to show that the election was secure. The Russians want to interfere with democracy. They want to interfere with our election process. We should have passed the bill. The fact is, you know, McConnell says he's the Grim Reaper. It's the graveyard for legislation. Anything we'd have passed, he wouldn't have been for. He's been against background checks on guns. He's been against lower prescription health care costs. He's been against all kind of bills to clean up the swamp and to put ethics controls in place.
Do you think he thinks election security is more for the private sector versus the government?
No, it's not for the private sector. It's for the government. This is our democracy at stake. This is the basic framework of what makes us who we are. People elect their leaders, and they should be fair and open elections. They don't want to pass the Voting Rights Act, which gives people a chance to vote who are discriminated against by states who have been against blacks and other minorities from voting for years. They have not renewed it when they had a chance. They have a chance to do it again. They won't do it now because they don't want Americans to. If all Americans voted like in Australia, where all Australians have to vote, the Republicans would never win. They'd never win.
So I want to talk to you about why we brought you here, because we did diverge when Mitch McConnell came to the Senate floor.
Natalie Allen might have known why we were here.
Let's talk about Congressman Ratcliffe making the remarks that we just heard in the Judiciary Committee hearing just last week, which you were also a part of. What do you make of those comments? Do you believe he was auditioning for Coates' job?
I suspect he was. He treated Mr. Mueller very disrespectfully. Mr. Mueller is an American hero. Purple Heart, all kind of medals in Vietnam, gave up private law practice to prosecute FBI. He's telling him what the cardinal rules are for a prosecutor. Mueller could take him and teach him more lessons. He had his nerve, and the man is still on the top of his game, and he's got more knowledge and capability than Ratcliffe ever hopes to have. Now, I've worked with John Ratcliffe on Ethics Committee. I've been with him on Judiciary. He's not a person who's not smart. He's smart. But he was disrespectful of an American hero. And to think that the Russians are responsible for this, and the Democrats and Russians, and to spin that yarn, he's destroying democracy by doing that type of stuff.
So you know him. Do you think he's qualified for the job?
No, no. You should have experience in intelligence. You should have more experience in government on the ground. Coates had many years in the Senate. He'd been ambassador to Germany. Coates did a good job. Coates stood up. And Coates didn't think that Vladimir Putin was our pal. I'm afraid that Ratcliffe will do whatever Mr. Trump wants him to do.
Quick answer here. You think Ratcliffe will be confirmed, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Congressman Steve Cohen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.